Hang on, just hitting record. Okay, welcome everybody to today's Empowered Women's Coaching Call. My name's Kira Westwick, and today I have the lovely Jade Baxter back with us, which I'm excited about because we always get to have a lot of laughs and a lot of fun together. So welcome back, hon.
Thank you. I'm on my phone today, so I'm hoping that you can hear me and see me okay.
We can. So it is the 15th. If you're watching this back, it is the 15th of October, 2019, which is absolutely crazy. So today's topic is something that comes up a lot. Jade and I actually work within the same company, so we get to work together a lot. We have a large team of women who are on that same mission, I guess, to create an impact in the world whilst making an income. But one of the things that we coach daily on, and you don't have to be within our organization to get, insights on this and coaching on this, but one thing that comes up a lot is that piece around fear of failure. And what I find is quite often it's fear of succeeding as well, which is what holds someone back. And this can be in any area of your life. It really isn't just about success when it comes to business and finances. It may be in relationships. It may be into just stepping into your light and your greatness in the world. It might be, embracing a hobby or something that you really used to enjoy, but perhaps now, you've been in mum land and you've forgotten those parts of yourself and you have that fear of going back there. So we're going to cover all things around that. We're going to cover how to move forward through that fear. Jade is also going to talk a lot about enjoying the process and also what does failure really mean and how we can take more responsibility around our mindset and what meaning we choose to give failure. So let me just double check that our live is working because I can't see it. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, yeah, we are working. Sorry, not that tech savvy over here. Okay, so what I wanted to do, actually, I'm going to start with a little competition that I want to run. I want to give a little giveaway today. And first of all, I want to read a little bit out of this book that I'm going to give away. I've got a spare copy here, and I started reading this book last week. And I get asked all the time, and I'm sure you do too, Jade, where would someone start when it comes to their personal development? And, there's a million places you could start. It's a really hard question to answer. I haven't completely finished this book yet, but even within the first chapter, there was just so many beautiful insights. And I thought, wow, if I was to write a book, this is word for word what I would love it to say. So now I don't have to write a book. So that's really cool. So I literally on the second page, I was just like the biggest, that's exactly what I'm trying to get across on these calls. I talk a lot about internal freedom and how that feels. And these calls are about helping you move forward into that space of internal freedom. I think so many women, they're constricted. They've forgotten how to use their voice. They have a voice. They've just forgotten how to use it. They've forgotten the truth of who they are. They're so bogged down with so much noise in their head that you are just so constricted in life. And when you learn to let go, when you learn to just live with ease, grace, and flow, and really just to accept who you are and to live authentically, that is when you experience internal freedom. So I want to read this because it really is relevant to what we're talking about today. And then I'm going to just give it to you to share your magic. Okay, so let's just make this relevant to fear of failure and failing forward. It doesn't mean, and this is the thing, right? Like this has been the craziest year of my life, right? And I know so many who are watching this have had an insane year. Have you just I feel like everyone has had a year of transformation in a very challenging way, right? And so we can get on here and we're all smiles and we are positive, but make no mistake, there is challenge behind the lives for us as well. So it doesn't mean that I haven't had to face really real challenges, but I can see clearly how my struggles have been part of a bigger plan to help me strengthen my faith. I've chosen to perceive hard life experiences as spiritual assignments for growth and healing, not FML, poor me, why is this happening to me? I've accepted that nothing happens by accident. What happened to me over the past 12 months is meant to happen for some greater plan. I have faith in that. And I know that as long as I remember who I am, I will be able to accept difficult experiences as opportunities to fine-tune my inner power and get closer to consciousness. It doesn't mean everything is perfect. It does not mean that I show up for life. It does mean that I show up for life with faith no matter what. Claiming my power has helped me to move through rough times with much more grace, honesty, and compassion than I otherwise would. Living my life in this way has brought me to what I desire most, freedom. I feel free knowing that there is an ever-present energy of love within me and around me. I'm free knowing that I'm always being guided and that I have the power to co-create the world I want to see. Freedom is the greatest gift of all. And freedom has given me the experience of being an untethered force of light in this world. And that's really the space that I feel in now, even though I'm still working through challenges, that inner freedom. It's the most incredible feeling. And that's the one thing that I really wish for the women who get on these calls, that they're able to get to that space of experiencing it for themselves. And it doesn't mean you're there 100% of the time. It just means that you begin to master yourself, you begin to master your mind, and you're just able to live with more authenticity, and you stop fearing things like failure, right? You really see it for what it is. So, and one little other quote I wanted to share, and I shared this on our training last night, Jade. And I've a new friend of mine actually shared this with me last week, and I thought, wow, it actually gave me chills. But I don't remember the full story, but basically the ending was, imagine that, you pass on today and you're standing there in front of God, and next to God is another version of you, the version that God intended you to be. Like, he's showing you everything you were meant to be, like this could have been on earth. And I just thought, wow, like, I'm not even remotely stepping into my potential. I know that there's this significantly greater version of me that I'm supposed to be on this planet. And, just to have that confidence and knowledge and faith that that is your truth. And you're here to grow and step into that. So the competition I'm going to win is because, we are doing these calls to empower women around the world. We get absolutely no benefit from this other than the incredible emotional revenue and the strength that you give us to grow alongside you. So I'm going to give away a copy of this. All you need to do is share this live on Facebook, and also take a pic and do a story on Instagram. And I'm going to choose one person, which I'll announce on next Tuesday, and I will send this book out to you. Okay, so I'm just going to pass it on to you, babe. And I don't know if you want to start with what you've been experiencing there energetically with this. I know it's been coming up a lot in your coaching. And yeah, we'll just see how we go.
I love that. I was at the airport yesterday and I was looking for that book because I'd seen you. I'm always up for book recommendations, and I love a good read. And I'd seen it in your stories. I was like, I'm going to find that book, and that's going to be my, my plain.
I'm listening to it and reading it. So I'm highlighting it. I'm really annoyed because I can't find my pink highlighter.
Yes, I highlight in pink as well.
Does anyone else have issues like that? But I'm also listening to it, and I'm kind of getting different things from it.
Well, it must be so new because I didn't have it at the airport. I was very unimpressed. I looked into 3 bookstores. I was like, fine, I'll sleep on the plane. It's fine. Because I feel like it's one that I want to read. I listen to a lot of audibles, but I feel like it's just one that you want to get your pen out.
Basics. We've done a lot of personal development, but even I'm just like, it's just so beautifully written in a very simple way.
Yes.
Out there. She'd have to talk about super attractor and universe and all of that, and you just need to insert whatever your faith and belief is. But yeah.
Yeah, I've read some of other stuff, and I do enjoy it. Cool. That's an awesome giveaway. I'm very excited. You guys definitely need to take advantage of that. I feel like I might do the same. I'll be doing my screenshot. Okay, so this topic is really beautiful. When Kira messaged and we were chatting back and forth about what we wanted to talk about today, this just felt so right because there are so many people around me, both in my business, but actually outside of my business as well, that I see or have conversations with that are they know that they want to be doing something more. They know that they want to be creating something more, even if that's, whether that's in their career or in their relationship or in their connection with themselves. I know that the last 10 years of my life have been that journey, like moving away from kind of a default mode of living and reacting and responding and thinking and feeling, and tapping more into like, who the hell am I? Who am I here to be? What am I doing? I feel like just as I've been coming up closer to my 30th birthday, it's just been this like fast-paced unraveling. So Kira, when you said like I've had a crazy year, I feel like that was last year for me. It was such a year of soul searching and ripping off band-aids and layers, and it's hideous and amazing all at once. And it's, you know, it's different for everyone.
Reasons.
Yeah, it's like different for everyone in circumstances, but it's so similar in like the final result, I feel, or like the person, like you can see it in someone else when they're just like, this is me and I'm so down with it, and like, how's it going? It's so refreshing and it's so attractive, and it's my favorite energy to spend time with. And so I've been having these chats, these really beautiful, like random deep conversations, not into, hi, how you doing? How's the weather? I'm like, what do you believe in? What are we doing? What's the biggest, most scariest thing? Like, let's get stuck in. And so many people are sharing with me that, like, I'd love to go do that. I'd love to go write a book, or I'd love to go start a business, or I'd love to be able to get out of my job and do this or that. And the number one thing when I'm like, so why the heck aren't you? Is I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm scared, like, what if it doesn't work? And it's this fear of failure that comes up, and it has so many different faces, but it always comes back to the fear of failure. Sometimes it looks like, oh, I don't know if I have the skills and I don't have the understanding. When we break it down in reality, like, hello, I didn't know how to drive a car until I drove a car, and I didn't know how to, like, get on a plane on my own until I did it. Like, we don't know how to do a lot of things, but we do them. You know, we go through that process of learning in so many ways throughout our life. Yet as adults, we're so scared of doing something different or something new, or stepping out of the box, even if the box we're in is bloody painful and not serving us and boring, or, you know, soul destroying. That fear of failure seems to creep up. And so for me this year in particular, it's really been about, I think the biggest thing has been about becoming aware of the habit where our mind always goes for some reason to this auto glass half empty default, like worst case scenario. Why is that? Like, I can't tell you how many conferences for work over the years I've been to and been like, oh my God, it's going to be this and this and this. And I've thought of all the ways I could, you know, feel embarrassed or out of, not fit in, or things like that. I can't tell you how many calls I've gone to get on, you know, and then I'm like, what if I forget what the heck I want to say? Or, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to speak on a stage or present somewhere, and you just, I can feel it in myself. I go to this worst case scenario instead of going to
self-awareness piece. It's a really good because I used to be addicted to that too, and you can absolutely it's easily retrained. But first, you have to be self-aware. So let me know in the comments, you know, make a public declaration. Let us know if you can resonate and you know that that is your default, because that awareness is key to then making a change to move forward.
Definitely. And you can't kid yourself. Like, I think it's really, it feels so good to be able to say, like, oh my gosh, this is what goes on inside my head, or I do this, because you realize everyone else, pretty much everyone else does it too. And then once I started becoming aware of it, I was like, why do we do that? Why does my brain start to auto assume the worst case scenario? Why don't I start thinking like, oh my gosh, what is possible right now? How exciting. What could this turn into? What could come of this? What joyful things could I experience? And I know you have a great question you ask yourself every day around, like, what possibility could I be today, or something along those lines?
Possibility today. So, you know, right when my separation occurred, I was really lucky to have an incredible coach, Nima, in my life. And, you know, like anyone who's gone through, you know, a marriage breakup will understand those first days and how challenging they are. And he would just send me a message most mornings, he just knew the mornings that I needed to hear it. And he would say, it would just simply say, who are you as a possibility today? And it would just to realign me into my truth. And the truth is I could choose to focus on suffering, or I could choose just to be in the present moment and consciously enjoy all of the well-being that was surrounding me. Even though this one thing didn't turn out like I wanted it to, and it's a big thing, there's a shitload of things going right around me, and I can choose whether I'm going to be in suffering or if I'm going to at least just take one healthy step forward, that is going to serve me more.
Completely. And I think that's that level of awareness of like, okay, so I am auto until I change this habit. I am auto, like right now, I'm auto, always going to be thinking initially glass half full. Like, so it's just a habit of retraining your brain to go, well, or understanding even that that's just a safety mechanism that's built in, and the voice in your head, that brain is going to put you in that space because it doesn't know what's in the unknown. It knows what's safe. It knows what's same. And if you're safe and same isn't inspiring you, then you have to be bigger than the voice. You have to recruit your heart. You have to recruit your intuition. You have to recruit your dreams, like all the things that make you you. For so long, in fact, probably for my whole life until maybe halfway through last year, my loudest voice was my ego. It was that ego voice, that monkey mind trying to keep me where it knew the boundaries and the perimeters and what the challenges looked like. It knew how to like manipulate every situation so that I always looked okay and didn't kind of have to face failure or have to stumble or have to grow, because growth is uncomfort and it's a bit ugly sometimes. And I don't know why we lump it in as a bad thing, why it gets put in like the lack category or the wrong category or the you're less if you fail. Because for me, the reality has been in shifting it and going, okay, so number one, how can I start to realize that I am in control of thinking glass full, thinking, okay, what's possible, but then also choosing to reframe failure. Like I when you break it down, I was baffled. I sat there for so long when this came through and I was like, why in the heck is it such a bad thing? And when you look back, like when I look back at my childhood, at least, I look at how many times I have literally face down failed, like learning to ride a bike. I didn't get on and ride it like an absolute badass the first time. I fell off like a lot. I have so many bruises on my knees and scars on my knees from a kid. The first time I learned to drive, I remember being ridiculously crap. I never thought it was going to feel automatic, ever. I used to say to my mum, I don't get how you can drive and sing a song at the same time. I can't even drive and like hold the steering wheel at the same time. I remember failing my driving test the first time. No, I'm really good now. Don't you worry. But my best friend's in the background. She's like, debatable. She gets car sickness from my driving. This is not a good example for me.
Your best friend.
And so, now I drive places and I get there and I think, oh my gosh, I changed gears. I listened to a song. I was able to like completely function. But why don't I see that as failing? I didn't fall off my bike as a kid and my parents went, oh, you failed. They were like, oh, hop back on, off you go, until you master it. So why as adults, when we hit a speed bump, do we feel like we failed, instantly make ourselves wrong, and then choose never to do that again? It just makes no sense. And like, it's crazy. And so when that dropped in for me and I like had that awareness, it was like this overwhelming choice of like, no more. Like, I'm no longer going to make failure such a terrible thing. Why is it so like lumped in that lack category? Why not expect it? Make it part of the process. Like, okay, I'm going to start public speaking, for example. Okay, so there are going to be moments where I feel like I did not my best job, for example, or that I dropped the ball, or that I wasn't as prepared as I could be, or that I wore the wrong outfit, for that photo or that stage, or, whatever. And knowing that there's going to be those moments of failure, and it's all part of it.
And because it takes the power out of it, because, you said expect it, and I say that about the inner bitch voice. When you just expect it, you take the power off of it. Like, you know that it's going to show up and speak BS and say, oh, what if you fail and blah, blah, blah. If you expect that it's coming, then there's no power anymore, right? And same with failure. Expect failure. That's how we learn. It's there for a reason. It's there to shape us. And when you expect it, it takes that power out of it, that negative power, and you get to use it for a force for good.
And it's like you shared in that beautiful piece from the book, you know, talking about it's the universe like guiding you and steering you in those universal assignments and things. Like, I choose to look at failure now as I'm like, it's actually just feedback from the universe. Like, if something isn't flowing, if something I'm deeming it as like, oh, that felt like a bit of a flop or a fail, all I'm doing is pivoting. I'm not changing my whole entire vision. I'm not putting myself in the pit. I'm not like, oh shit, I quit, that's it, it's over. I'm like, okay, pivot. Like, I'm not a tree, I can move. I'm allowed to, like, I'm not meant to get it right the first time. Who the friggin' hell created that concept?
Like, we do that a lot in our business, actually, and let's just touch on this because a lot of our business is in that. You know, like one negative comment or one cancellation or one promotion that you didn't hit, which, by the way, I'm in all of those categories myself.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the difference? Why are we still here at the pinnacle of our success? And it's because we redefined what success and failure meant and what challenge means. And it's that resourcefulness. You know, for me, one thing we hear a lot is I'm stuck or I feel like I'm failing. That's a mindset choice, and you're choosing to give that power in a certain way. For me, is if I'm feeling challenged, I don't use words like stuck, right, or failure. Like, you're going to hit road bumps and challenges along the way. For me, it was the day that I woke up and I 100% decided I was going to succeed. I also knew that I didn't know how yet. It's the decision. When you make the decision to be successful, you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know what challenges are going to come up. But what you do know is you will be resourceful when they do. You will seek help. You will try and try and try again until you get it right. You know that you're going to get it wrong along the way, right? But you're going to find a way through the challenges. And that's the difference of the mindset of someone who is successful and somebody who chooses to fail and give up time and again, not just within this, but usually that's a reflection in all areas of their life. And I have to say that when I finally showed up for myself and chose success, again, I still had lots of challenges on that journey, and I didn't know how the hell I was going to be successful. I just knew I was going to show up, find the way, learn, grow until I got the success and the goal that I was after. I just lost my train of thought. That
happens to me so much.
This is what happens when you have babies. It's like the plug is pulled out.
Like, I'm going somewhere with this, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah, I was really going somewhere with it. I can't remember. But anyway, it's like, oh, that's right. Like, so, okay, I've got it. So this has flowed into every area of my life now. Like, before I created this success, my self-worth was so low. I didn't show up in any area for myself. I would easily give up in every area of my life. Now that I know what success feels like, now that I've chosen to be self-resourced, to not play the victim anymore, to move through challenge, to look at failure as a chance to grow. Like, I just had a failed 12-year relationship. Now, am I going to look at that as a failure, or am I going to look at that of 12 years of incredible lessons that I'm actually really excited to take forward into my future, because I know that I get to create what the future looks like, and I'm going to bring all of the good stuff, and I get to learn from the stuff that didn't work. Right. Yeah. So it's how we label it. And so now I'm like all about, like, I embrace, if I look at the greatest lessons in my life, the greatest growth came from the greatest challenges. You might want to call them failures, but the greatest challenges. And I wouldn't take any of them back. I wouldn't take any of them back, because I wouldn't be the empowered woman I am today without them.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. It's actually really, it's a weird kind of concept, really, isn't it? But like, they are the biggest teaching moments, and they truly do help you step into and call upon those parts of yourself that you need a little bit of perturbation, you need a little bit of pressure to call upon. Like, they're circumstantial, and you draw on those. something that really helped me was exactly what you just went through in terms of going back and looking at, okay, so where are these deemed like, you know, stereotypical fails, and then looking at what you now know because of them. Like, and it can be the smallest things, like cooking. How many times have I tried to cook something and it has been a flop? Like, I suck at brownies. I just cannot do it. And I made some the other day and they came out and I just laughed. And I was like, oh my God, a couple of years ago, this would have been me in tears, just like, why can't I do it? Now it's like, oh, well, that was a good laugh. Tried that. We'll try again next time. Find a new recipe, do you know? Like, and then it happens in bigger things. My last relationship was probably the most challenging roller coaster of all time for me. But there are so many times in my current relationship where I have these flickers of like, oh my gosh, I would have reacted like this back then. And now I choose a different path, and look at what happens because of that. Look at the learning and the connection and the communication and the upgrades. So I'm grateful all the time to those sticky, you know, not so fun moments, because they've literally created the person I am, for sure. And I think if you feel like you're focusing on what's not working, or you're focusing on where you're falling down now, you've got to go back and look at how many times you got back up in the past. Like, your brain is going to tell you something and then it's going to go and seek to show you all the ways it's right. Like, I don't know why we do it. It's weird, but we do. So go to break that. You got to go show yourself, like, pinpoint the moments where it's actually not right. You got to go, okay, so let's say your brain's telling you that you're a terrible speaker. You've got to go find those moments where you had those incredible one-on-one conversations, or you felt so in flow, or you jumped on a call and shared your story, or, you know, whatever it might be, or and actually break that thought process and be like, well, that's actually not true, because here's all the times where I have been great, you know. And the same with failure. Oh, you can't do it. Okay, well, here's all the times I've had to do it. You know, maybe you have to summon boldness or courage or bravery or vulnerability. Like, how many times in the past have you had to bring those things to light? Even if that's privately, even if that's in a one-on-one situation, whether that was, you know, something completely out, this might be in relation to your business, and you might be thinking of something that's totally not related to your business. It doesn't matter. Those skills are transferable. It's like you were saying before, when you grow somewhere, it doesn't just happen in your business and then you're like a badass in your business and then you're still like not on that level everywhere else. Like, no, it's like universal to you, like your whole globe, your whole body, your whole being. And I think in learning to recruit not just that ego voice and not just that that was so doubtful and so fearful and so wanting to keep me safe and sane, but recruiting all those parts of me and learning to love myself as a whole, like heart, soul, body, spirit, like giving myself the things that nourish all parts of me and really getting cooler with who I am. That's really helped in becoming more resilient and having that mindset to grow my business. But also really helped in the awareness when it comes to failure, because I can look at it and it's not me. It's just part of the journey that we're all on. If it wasn't this path with this business, it would show up in some other way, you know. It'll show up again when I go through motherhood. It'll show up, like, it's always there.
Growth is essential for the human spirit to truly feel fulfilled and joy.
Yeah.
And, you know, and even connection. Like, it's so imperative. And I think so many women are just so frozen in fear right now, and they're avoiding that growth because they're just clinging to their comfort for many, many reasons. And I can resonate because I was one of those. Yeah. But the universe is continually calling you to step into your greatness, and it will continue to bring challenges towards you to cause you to step out into your greatness, I think.
Yeah. And the thing I've noticed is that if you don't listen to the first little whispering of your heart or whatever you choose to think that comes from, for me, I always feel like it's like just such a deep part of me that's like, go on, you could, or what if, you know, if you don't listen to that, the lessons, the opportunities, those like kind of challenges, they get bigger and bigger and bigger until you are forced to literally make that jump. So you might as well do it on the first one and like practice those little hop skips rather than like Mack truck vibes, you know. Yeah. So many times I've ignored them and I'm like, oh wow, that's really loud and clear now, I've got you.
And I think, you know, cultivating that space, because I think so many women, again, are so disconnected from themselves. They really can't hear their true self. Their inner bitch is so loud, they can't hear the whispers of their heart. And
so relatable.
Again, we cover a lot of how to come into that space on these calls. And, you know, we've talked about, I know you have different rituals, and they don't have to be set in stone. They don't have to be the 5 a.m. for an hour. It's just having rituals that resonate with you, that pull you back to your truth. So on the hard days where it's chaotic and you get off track, and it might even turn into a week, and sometimes it will turn into a month, you know, like I still have these ups and downs, and it's, you know, and then I realize I haven't read my mission statement in a few days, or I haven't spoken to a good friend who's going to pull me into line and not listen to my neg ferret bitching about my frustrations. You know, it's having go-to things that you know will realign you back with your truth, but also your inspiration for why you're going to get up when you feel like you're failing, you know. And if anyone hasn't done the mission statement training, that's one of the most powerful tools that I've found. You can go and get that on my YouTube channel. But it's very detailed in who I am, why I do what I do, what I'm creating, and also what I'm good at, what I bring to the world. And when I read that every day, it recenters me, and it gives me the inspiration, but also the courage to go and do the things that I've said that I'm going to do. Because one of the greatest disservices you can do for yourself is to let yourself down on your own word. You know, how often, Jade, do we say, oh, I'll do this for you and I'll do that for that person? We run around like mad women trying to please everybody, and we're the last ones to do something for ourselves. Or when we set a goal, we let ourselves down on our word. Like, we know we're bullshitting as we said it, right? Like, New Year's resolutions are only a few months away. Like, if you're going to write a list of things again, and know as you're writing it in your soul that you're just bullshitting yourself, right? Or are you actually, it was me 5 years ago, enough is enough. I'm going to stop lying to myself. I'm actually going to show up and do this.
Yeah, I remember writing New Year's resolutions, and it would actually be quite it wasn't an inspiring time for me, because as I was writing them, I was like, I'm so full of shit. Yeah. I am so not going to stick to this. I'm going to break this. I wonder how many days till I break it. Like, that's not empowering. That's bloody depressing. Like, that's hard. That's
January the 12th or 14th. I've written an article on it. It's around then. Maybe it's the 17th, where on average most people have already given up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Whereas I have like a mission statement for, you know, and I'm constantly updating it, but I have one in general. But then every month I have, like, you know, for October I have different focuses, different focuses, different goals, different things that I, you know, different words that are my power words for the month. That I'd rather do that every month and then focus on that for the month, and then grow over the year and be able to look back and be like, oh my gosh, you know. But it is so true. Even this morning, so I just flew into Cairns yesterday, and I'm living on this big purple bus with my best friend for the next 2 weeks in this beautiful caravan park in Palm Cove, and we're right on the beach. And so this morning I was like, we have to do, like, I've got a full day of calls, we have to get out walking along the beach. And then we came back, and I just sat there with my eyes closed for a few minutes. I think it doesn't matter what rituals you have, like, there's no one right one, there's no rule of it must be this order or this time or for this many minutes, because we all have different lifestyles. It's actually just making some time for yourself to be with yourself. And then that stuff, you know, you realize how strong the bitch voice is, or you realize how, you know, how much truth she doesn't have, and how she can manipulate you and kind of blindside you, and you start to hear the other whispers. And sometimes you can get that exercising, sometimes you can get that sitting there, sometimes it comes when you're driving. Like, it's just making time for you.
Absolutely. Someone's just said, for some reason this live is not on Netflix. I'm just trying to fix that as you're chatting.
Good old tech fail on the fail call.
While I'm trying to do this.
Oh, it's so good. What else did I want to share? I think it's just about making failure part of the adventure, expecting it, welcoming it, like reframing it as being something that you're open to. I honestly, like, I love going through my day in my gratitude journal and being like, look, let's list all the wins. Some days brushing my teeth is a win, but I also love going through and looking at the lessons. And I'm like, okay, let's look at like, okay, today this, you know, this happened and that happened. And what did I learn about me? And okay, I need more time to get ready. Otherwise I'm frazzled, crazy mess. Or, oh, I really do well with having this and this in place. Like, you're constantly getting this feedback and it's just there to support you. And for some reason, we have just lumped it. Oh my gosh, guys. Look what I just got delivered while we're chatting. This amazing Nourish bowl. I'm never leaving.
So good.
I'm staying here forever. It's really about becoming aware, giving yourself space to listen in, and then taking failure out of the bin and putting it on the path. It's nothing to be afraid of. We all go through it. And I think when we have conversations like this, it's powerful because then everyone realizes like, oh my gosh, we're all just climbing over roadblocks and speed bumps, and, you know, you can do it gracefully or stressfully.
Totally. And, you know, there's that bit around like the shame that we feel when we fail, because everybody keeps their failures so private. And you know, I think the more that we talk about this and we talk about our challenges and we bring them to light, we don't have to feel ashamed because we're all in the same boat. And it's failure is just part of life. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. You should actually be proud of it. I'm proud of my failures because I'm proud of who I've grown into out of them. And that's why I'm happy to share them on this call, because I know that they're part of who I've become, and I love myself fully now and who I've become. And if I hadn't had gone through those challenges, I wouldn't be here today. And so hope is that other women really get to feel that we're all in the same boat. We all have the inner bitch. We all have these moments. We all, if you're a parent, suck at parenting some days and have massive mum fails where you know, I'm that mum that has no idea that it's dress up day, or, you know, there's a lot of failures on the school mum front. You know, but we're all in the same boat. There's nothing to be.
It's so human. I read a really beautiful book. There's like a whole series of them. They've been around forever. Celestine Prophecy, and just gorgeous reads. And it just made me remember like how we are, like what you were saying earlier around that, like when you come to the end of your time in this lifetime, like looking back, and it's, you know, when you ask people that question, I read a really gorgeous article about it. When you ask people that question, it's always the things they regret are not going for it, and not, you know, like just being more playful and saying like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. You know, the times they hindered themselves because of their own thought processes, or, you know, not thinking they were good enough. It's always the things they didn't do and they wish they had of. I think of that a lot. And the book kind of talks about how we are here on this remembering journey, and everyone has different beliefs, of course, but I really resonate with that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what can I step forward into? What can I like experience? I'm here for it all. You know, if you try and only feel the good stuff and you avoid the growth and the chaos and the lessons and, you know, those flops, those fails, it's almost like that's the ultimate letdown. That's the ultimate fail, because it means that you're not doing the full circle. You're not feeling it all. And you can only feel the great things in comparison, right, to how deeply open you are to feeling those less than, you know, those emotions that aren't so yummy. Yeah. So it's kind of, it's like, it's a bit poetic, really.
And I love what you said then, because it made me think of, you know, for myself, I feel like the last 5 years has been a journey of remembering who I am. Mm-hmm. And there are still moments where I feel, what's the word? The shyness, the embarrassment of being seen if I'm 100% authentic. You know, for example, at home, I'm silly, I dance freely, I'm funny. I'm not 100% that person in public. Like, really, like
it's a process, right?
Yeah, but who I am today in public is a far cry from where I was at 5 years ago. So I'm constantly pushing myself to do things to assist that remembering and to shed that shame, that blanket of shame that I was, you know, taught over my childhood, to not be silly and outgoing and loud and fun, like, you know, and so I'm retraining myself into myself basically. And it's saying yes to things, like you said. Like this last weekend I was meant to go on this horse cow mustering camping weekend, right? The 5 years ago, Kira, would not have gone on that trip. Like I know no one. And never mustered cows before on a horse. I love horse riding, you know, camping with people that you've never met before. And I'm just like, whatever, who cares? Why not? I'm not doing anything else, right? It's like, this is
absolutely.
I get great joy in seeing how far I've come. So it's like, and it's saying yes to things that are silly and playful and opportunities to dance and be free and just do crazy stuff. And I think that helps you remember who you are too. You know, just get outside your comfort zone, I think, is a key ingredient. I don't think you can avoid that ingredient on that journey to stepping into your full potential of who you are.
I entirely agree. Very relatable.
And changing your relationship with what that means again, I did your wording around this when we were talking about this. It's like, for many of you, it's like comfort zone. I need my blanket. That just sounds painful. That does not sound like a place I want to be at. You know, I don't want to be outside of my comfort zone. Whereas I embrace it. I get excited. Like I've changed my relationship and my meaning with what it is to be outside my comfort zone. To me, it's exhilarating. It's adventurous. It's like that adrenaline rush, because I know there's going to be a little bit of fear mixed with excitement, mixed with that. And you can choose that to be a positive thing or a negative thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is realizing how it's exciting, because you realize how you're going to feel about it. Like you get to choose what you're going to attach to it. And that for me was like the ultimate. I was like, oh my gosh, life could be a shit ton more joyful based on a decision I make right now, just to allow that. How cool. It was like a big breath of fresh air. I was like, let's do this.
I reckon we could have just done the whole Zoom just on that one phrase. Life could just be a shit ton more joyful if I just choose it to be. Like it really is the truth. There's obviously layers to that, but that literally is the truth of every call I ever do. Is it's a choice, ladies. Yeah. It's a choice. Like you're creating your destiny. You're creating how you feel in every single moment. I'm not here to say that shit things don't happen and you should crap about them. But the truth is, you could also, I mean, it's good to feel true emotion, by the way, that you shouldn't. But, you know, you can choose whether to be emotionally charged by something or not.
My partner listens to that Calm app, the meditations on the Calm app every morning. And so he's listened to one back in Perth and he sends me the little quote. And this morning's was a Lady Gaga one. It was I can't remember exactly, but it was something along those lines of, you know, cultivating peace and living in peace isn't about not having the ups and downs and the roller coasters and the challenges and the roadblocks and, you know, not experiencing life. It's about experiencing life and still staying peaceful in your heart, you know, and always coming back to who you are and being able to respond from a place of love. And I was like, that is so freaking true.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, it's all fairies and roses over here. Like, oh my gosh, it's so far from that. But it's just, I'm not reacting anymore. And I used to hear it even in my arguments. I'd be like, you made me feel like this. Now I'm like, how the heck are you making me feel something? That's impossible. I'm choosing to feel that. And then it was like, you can flip that on its head and you go, I can choose to feel whatever. I can choose to enjoy failing. I can choose to learn from it. Or I can choose to beat myself up, make myself feel super small, and then have to dig myself out of an even bigger hole tomorrow to be able to go do what I need to do.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and one of the other things you just made me think of, one of the things that really got me to creating success, and that was what John Holowati said on stage one day. And he said, if you can be more, it's your responsibility to be more. You know, and it's so true. And every single one of you listening to this now, you have unlimited potential. You're put on this planet. You know that you can do better. It is your responsibility to do better. You know, to do the work, to do better for yourself, to do better for your kids, to leave the planet in a better place. We all have that responsibility. And when you grow more, you have so much more to give. And of course, not just financially, with your time, with your light, with your love. And if you don't get your stuff right first, then you're not in that position to do that. So I just think it's everybody's responsibility to do this work, because that's how we create a brighter future for ourselves, for our kids, for our children's children. It's just so incredibly important. So any last words that you want to leave everybody with?
I just want to swear. I'm just like, go fuck up. go get messy with it. You know what I mean? Like, go get messy with it, enjoy it, play with it. It's not, I just say to myself all the time, like I said to myself last night, I was like, what would I go back and tell myself, like, if I had my time over? And it was around stress less, play more. Like, and that's not like just quit your job and go live on the beach. It's like, how in every day can you just come at things with a more playful attitude? Like, when it comes to failing, when it comes to learning yourself, when it comes to trying new things, like, I always think about the inner child, and I'm like, what would she want? What would she do? You know, how would she go about it? So I just think, let's all just go and have some fun with it. Like, one lifetime. Let's go.
30,000 days. It's not that many. That's the average.
Yeah.
Lifetime, right? And, you know, I think it's important that we teach our kids this too. If you are a parent, start talking to your kids about failure now. You know, when we do our gratitude in the evening, I ask my kids, where did they fail? We celebrate that, because we celebrate that there's a learning within that. You know, and I already see Madeline, she's the little perfectionist like I was, and she gets so shitty when she doesn't draw something a certain way, and, you know, and it's so frustrating to watch it, but it's the perfect teaching moment to start helping her release and let go to these attachments of things having to be perfect, and that failure and trying again is how you get better and how you grow. So don't just be conscious about this for your own life, but definitely start teaching your kids, because imagine where you would be in your life right now if you had had these lessons early on.
Yes. Especially at school.
You go.
Especially at school, when you think about like how it's, you know, A, B, C, D, like, you know, whether you pass or fail, like, to be able to have that whole concept of like, I'm incredible and I'm here to learn and I'm going to take what I want from this. And it's just, I would definitely be up for these lessons, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Focusing on that stuff as a parent too, I really could care less what grades my kids bring home. I ask them if they tried their hardest, and they know if they're lying or not.
Yes. So good.
Okay, so just a reminder, I'm giving away this amazing book. You can go back to the beginning to listen to the bit that I read out of it, but someone asked, this is Gabrielle Bernstein, Super Attractor. It's her new book. It's just a really beautiful, simple way to start with your personal development. Even if you're miles into it, I'm really enjoying this. So all you need to do is share this on Facebook, this live, and also take a screenshot or a video and share something in your stories and tag us. And I'm going to choose someone, and next Tuesday I'll announce it, and I will send out this book to the lucky winner. So thank you so much for jumping on with us again and interacting with us. Thank you for your time, Jade. I'll let you go and eat your delicious Nourish bowl.
Yes, I'm very excited. Thank you for having me. It's so fun. See you, everyone.
Make sure you give Jade some love in the comments, and we will see you again next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye.